Morning, welcome to In Memoriam. This is the fifth and final day of offering a poem to you for each day in the week when we build up to Remembrance Sunday, which is this coming Sunday the 8th of November. The poem I'm going to read to you this morning is written by a man called Wendell Berry. He's from Kentucky in the United States and he's now about 86 years old. He describes himself as a person who takes the gospel seriously, and he's been a critic of Christians, organisations and Christian churches for failing to challenge cultural complacency, especially about environmental degradation. He's a great environmentalist as well as a farmer, and he's shown a willingness to criticise what he perceives as the arrogance of some Christians. Now, he's a good deal older than me, 20 odd years older than me. He married the year I was born, actually. So I guess I'd be of his son's generation, which is a generation which has grown up in the shadow of nuclear war. I don't remember a time when there wasn't a nuclear threat of one sort or another. And all that seems to have receded in the last 20 or so years since the fall of the Soviet Union in 1990-ish. It's not really gone away. There is still a huge proliferation of nuclear weapons in the world, and it only takes the act of one or two madmen in the what was the Soviet Union, now Russia, or the United States, for a conflagration to engulf the whole world. I grew up very conscious of it, very frightened of it, to be honest with you, as did many of my contemporaries. It would be unwise to say that fear has left. It hasn't. And there are very few poems that have come out of that period known as the Cold War, a war which is fought not with soldiers and tanks, although with the build-up of such things and the threat of such things, but with cybersecurity, I guess, computers, spies and propaganda. The Americans think they won it. I'm not so sure when you look at what's happening in Russia with Putin, and indeed when you look at what's happening in the United States with Trump, particularly today as I record this 2 days after the American presidential election, and we still haven't got a result. But there is not much poetry that comes out of the Cold War and speaks to us of what we want to think about this week, but this one does, to my mind. Again, written by Wendell Berry, and it's called To a Siberian Woodsman, after looking at some pictures in a magazine. I hope you enjoy it. You lean at ease in your warm house at night after supper, listening to your daughter play the accordion. You smile with the pleasure of a man confident in his hands, resting after a day of long labour in the forest, the cry of the saw in your head and the vision of coming home to rest. Your daughter's face is clear in the joy of hearing her own music. Her fingers live on the keys like people familiar with the land they were born in. You sit at the dinner table late into the night with your son, tying the bright flies that will lead you along the forest streams. Over you, as your hands work, is the dream of the still pools. Over you is the dream of your silence while the east brightens, birds waking close by you in the trees. I have thought of you stepping out of your doorway at dawn, your son in your tracks. You go in under the overarching green branches of the forest whose ways, strange to me, are well known to you as the sound of your own voice or the silence that lies around you now that you have ceased to speak. And soon the voice of the stream rises ahead of you and you take the path beside it. I have thought of the sun breaking pale through the mists over you as you come to the pool where you will fish, and of the mist drifting over the water, and of the cast fly resting light on the face of the pool. And I am here in Kentucky, in the place I have made myself in the world. I sit on my porch above the river that flows muddy and slow along the feet of the trees. I hear the voices of the wren and the yellow-throated warbler whose songs pass near the windows and over the roof. In my house, my daughter learns the womanhood of her mother. My son is at play, pretending to be the man he believes I am. I am the outbreathing of this ground. My words are its words, as the wren's song is its song. Who has invented our enmity? Who had prescribed us hatred of each other? Who has armed us against each other with the death of the world? Who has appointed me such anger that I should desire the burning of your house or the destruction of your children? Who has appointed such anger to you? Who has set loose the thought that we should oppose each other with the ruin of forests and rivers and the silence of birds? Who has said to us that the voices of my land shall be strange to you, and the voices of your land strange to me? Who has imagined that I would destroy myself in order to destroy you, or that I could improve myself by destroying you? Who has imagined that your death could be negligible to me now that I have seen these pictures of your face? Who has imagined that I would not speak familiarly with you, or laugh with you, or visit in your house and go to work with you in the forest? And now one of the ideas of my place will be that you would gladly talk and visit and work with me. I sit in the shade of the trees of the land I was born in. As they are native, I am native, and I hold to this place as carefully as they hold to it. I do not see the national flag flying from the staff of the sycamore, or any decree of the government written on the leaves of the walnut, nor has the elm bowed before the monuments, or sworn the oath of allegiance. They have not declared to whom they stand in welcome. In the thought of you, I imagine myself free of the weapons and the official hates that I have borne on my back like a hump. And in the thought of myself, I imagine you free of weapons and official hates, so that if we should meet, we would not go by each other, looking at the ground like slaves sullen under their burdens, but would stand clear in the gaze of each other. There is no government so worthy as your son who fishes with you in silence beside the forest pool. There is no national glory so comely as your daughter, whose hands have learned a music and go their own way on the keys. There is no national glory so comely as my daughter, who dances and sings and is the brightness of my house. There is no government so worthy as my son who laughs as he comes up the path from the river in the evening for joy. Stay safe, people.